The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Face in your face. Face in your face. Ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. So, for the benefit of those who are watching this for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because here we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. So for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Okay. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel, whether you've been a supporter since day one or recently joined the Uncommon Folk. I really, truly appreciate all the love that you've given me. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, particularly Instagram and TikTok. Your continued support really touches my heart. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter into your devices and all those who watch from the clouds, including the haters, which are really our secret fans. So, what I'm going to ask you to do, if you have not done so already, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and hit the bell notification to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. And as you can see on the thumbnail, the topic for tonight is overcoming trials and tribulations. So that's something that we all have faced at various points of our life. So I'm just going to give you my feedback and how to deal with trials and tribulations and how to overcome them. But before we get into the topic, we're going to have another episode of In My Words. Of course, we are in the primary season to determine who's going to occupy 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, which is the home of the President of the United States. And the current resident is Joe Biden. So as it is beginning to look like it's going to be a rematch of 2020. Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, or as I like to put it, the battle between two grumpy old men. Okay, one that appears to be demented, meaning Donald Trump, and the other one that appears to be slow, Joe Biden. I do intend to cover in the stream regarding what's going to be most eventually be the result of who's going to represent both parties. Okay, I made it perfectly clear on numerous occasions These two people have a great deal to be desired. Okay. They're not exactly what I call top tier candidates. Okay. Both of them have flaws. Okay. Now, what I will do is I'll be addressing the flaws of both candidates. I might do it maybe next week just to have a discussion, and then we can discuss, share our thoughts. Now, recently I did a poll on my community tab. Who would you prefer in the White House? And while there's not a lot of people participated, there was 15 votes cast. The majority of people opted for Donald Trump. Well, it is their preference. Okay. Moving right along, of course, another thing that's been a great deal of discussion is the fact that there have been delays and multiple delays regarding filing of your taxes and getting that wonderful refund that we all depend on. Okay. Um, there's been a great deal of chatter about it. Okay. And there are millions of people who have not filed the taxes. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you my humble opinion for whatever it's worth. Okay. If you think that you're going to be expecting a refund, it is best to get it done out of the way. It is best to do it file electronically, because if you do it by paper, you're going to wait weeks and weeks and weeks, particularly with the slow with the delay regarding the processing of returns. Okay, but then again, it's your own choice. Just make sure that all your information that you put on your tax returns is correct and accurate, because if not, it's gonna be flagged, and it's gonna be delayed further. Okay. Now, just to give you an idea, um, how delayed it was. Normally, I people get the federal return within less than 3 weeks from filing, and usually the local return comes after, weeks after. This year, I got my local reform, I got my federal. But what can I say? Okay, that's just a personal preference. And of course, we all know that spring will be arriving pretty soon, less than 2 weeks. Okay, and of course, when we think of spring, we think of many things. We think of baseball. We think of days getting longer. We also think about a lot of the holidays and special days that fall in spring, like Mother's Day, uh, Father's Day, also Easter, Passover, and there's other, and of course, technically St. Patrick's Day. It comes towards the end of winter, but when we think of St. Patrick, we're thinking, springtime and the green and the Irish are the green, and of course, on St. Patrick's Day, everybody's Irish. Okay. So, and of course, one more thing that I want to discuss is sometimes it can be difficult to try to find topics to share, to talk about. Okay. And I think that's something we all have experienced at one point or another. Okay. It's times like this we need to be a little bit more creative as far as topics to discuss. Okay. And sometimes you just need a break. Okay. To rejuvenate and rethink on, just look at enjoy life. Okay. And enjoy some other things like family and things of that nature. Okay. Um, this should not be an obsession. Okay. I think I'll do a stream regarding have people got addicted to social media. Um, just something to think about. So now, when everything is said and done, we're going to get into the main topic. Okay. Now, the question for tonight is, why am I discussing overcoming trials and tribulations? That's something we all deal with at one time or another. Okay. And those trials and tribulations could be in a result of many things. Uh, it could be having to do with sickness is concerned. It can also have to do with the fact that uh, losing your livelihood. Also, there's also the other thing where you're experiencing problems within your personal relationships and things of that nature. So, when you're dealing with trials and tribulations, there's certain things you need to bear in mind. Okay. Number one, and it is very important, try to remain calm. Okay. Because when you are upset, when you are anxious, when you are worried, when you are scared, you're not able to think clearly. Okay. And before I continue, I just want to let everybody know that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone wishes to hit that link and join the panel, they may do so. Again, let me make this clear, especially for those who are watching the stream for the first time. If you have never been on the chat or this is your first time here, um, I will ask you to come up in the backstage. Why? To make sure that you do not flash anything inappropriate, which would cause the good people of YouTube to take down the stream. Okay. Now, part of it is going to be my own personal experiences as dealing with trials and tribulations are concerned, and also some is going to be some research material. When I think about my life and my 61 plus years of life, I've gone through all sorts of trials and tribulations. Uh, some of them has to do with the poor choices I made. Others have to do with circumstances that came into being beyond my control. Okay, uh, like for example, getting laid off. Okay, that can be a scary situation because you don't know when you'll be able to find employment, and then you're thinking about all the bills that you need to pay and what have you. And if you have a family support, that makes it even more stressful. Okay. It can trials and tribulations can come in the form of sicknesses, whether it be physical, whether it be mental. Um, Maybe you're coming down with some sort of a disease or or a situation where you're going to need surgery to correct a problem with a portion of your body. It can also trouble and tribulation can come in fact when you're having serious problems within romantic relationships. Okay, you and your significant other are not getting along very well. You two, both of you are arguing. You both of you are not able to come to some sort of understanding or resolution, things of that nature. These are some of the examples of trials and tribulations or hardships that you can deal with. Okay. Now, this again, the same principle that will help you to deal with it. First of all, try to calm down as much as you can. Of course, we're all emotional beings, So we're gonna, feel emotional. Okay. Um, Number one, keep calm. Number two, realize that there are solutions to many of the problems that you face. Sometimes you may have to seek help. Other times you need the, the plan and think about analyze the situation as is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to excuse me, just give me a moment. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully. Okay. Now I came across this article today, which talks about 6 times adversity and 13 ways to overcome your struggles. Okay. So, the article states, we all face adversity in our lives and it always sucks, whether you seek to overcome adversity in your career or business or struggling with relationship, enduring physical injury, or dealing with self-doubt and other mental issues. But surprisingly, adversity has its upsides. The most difficult moments often provide our greatest lessons and opportunities, and many who are able to turn adversity into a superpower. So the question is, how can you overcome adversity and turn it into a power? Well, when you're facing adversity, the key is to make progress slowly, regain your momentum, and in this article, you will learn how to do that. Let's check and see. Now, we're going to talk about the meaning of adversity, which is the following. It is a state of continued struggle, hardship, and difficulty that causes prolonged distress, often caused by a major or series of unfortunate events outside your control. Adversity, by definition, cannot be avoided. Instead, you should learn the right coping strategies to better handle adversity and keep motivating yourself when it arrives. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the different types of adversity. The first type is physical adversity. Physical adversity results when an unfortunate event that causes restraint in your physical abilities. Uh, okay, and I am a perfect example of that. I am suffering due to a condition with my left knee, which causes me to walk with a limp, and sometimes I walk with pain. Good evening, Georgia. Thank you very much for stopping by. The topic for tonight is how to deal with trials and tribulations. So I'm just giving you some examples of adversities. Okay. Another type of adversity is mental adversity. Mental adversity relates to mental struggles such as depression, self-doubt, and other mental health issues. And here's a couple of examples. Um, you see no way out of your current situation and experience depression. Okay. Here's an interesting situation. Data shows that 1 out of 5 adults in the US experience mental issues at any time, and this was pre-COVID. In other words, you're likely to experience mental adversity at least once in your lifetime. The third type is emotional adversity. Emotional adversity happens when you lack emotional awareness and understanding or control over it. An example, you feel stuck and frustrated, but you can't figure out why. Emotional adversity is not always easy to catch. I struggled with the emotions for most of my teenage years simply because I lacked self awareness and self understanding. The next type is social adversity. It comes in various degrees and ranges from your inability to communicate well and hold basic conversation to being unable to maintain healthy relationships. An example is you're at a network party but feel talking to people because you're unsure what to say. And there's another form of adversity called spiritual adversity. It is what spirituality is a higher state of unconsciousness. It seeks to discover truth and extends it far beyond religion or materialism. In that context, spiritual adversity refers to distress resulting from losing faith or connection to the truth or what you consider the truth. And one example is stop having faith in the universe, God, or any higher power that used to give you strength. Another example of adversity is financial adversity. And it is very common and refers to a major setback or inability to pay necessities, whether you or what you consider necessities. Okay. And now we're going to be discussing 13 ways to push through adversity. Okay. And you can count on happening, you just didn't know when and how it does. It's almost always a surprise. So here's number one: identify your struggle. The first step starts with understanding the real issue. What's affecting you the most? A lack of self awareness is the main thing that got me stuck on a negative feedback loop for years. I only found out after reading some of the best motivational books. This is we cover different types of adversity we can say, including the examples. Ask yourself why you're facing adversity and go beyond useless answers like the business didn't succeed because of the government, my boss is a-hole, or because of inflation. So, number two, own your hardship. When you face adversity, stop for a second and ask yourself the following question: are you resisting in some way? That could come in various forms like denial, blaming, or complaining about circumstances. Resisting adversity isn't helpful. And here we're asked to accept the solution. No matter how difficult it is and you're in it, and when you accept the situation, something interesting happens. You feel more relaxed and your mind clears up. Number three, gain strength from the adversity experience. You may feel like you're crumbling in the face of adversity, but how often have you seen they've been there before? It's not likely your first rodeo. Sure, after your first breakup, the first setback in your career, or the first difficulty you encounter in your business. But looking back in your life, how often you have overcome different types of adversity. You probably struggled back then and made it out alive. Perhaps he made you stronger. Okay. One thing we have to bear in mind when we deal with trials and tribulations, what doesn't destroy us can make us stronger. Good evening, Irby. Thank you very much for stopping by. The topic for tonight is how to how to overcome trials and tribulations. Okay, so I'm just giving you some things to consider. Seek growth. Every challenging situation provides a unique opportunity to accelerate your personal or professional growth. It's not easy to see that in the heat of the moment, but it's true. You can grow through adversity. You see difficult moments allow you to upgrade your knowledge, habit, and skills. And here are some examples of people who uh, face adversity but turn it into success in their lives. People like Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, Michael Jordan, and J.K. Rowling. Find the opportunity in adversity. Excuse me. Just give me something to drink because my throat is a little dry. Growth is the only one of the many opportunities that may arise during difficult times. And although it's an important one, there are more chances out there. A recession is an excellent type example of this. A recession comes with financial adversity for most people. Those who prepare can greatly benefit from it. Amazon dropped 90% of its value during the dot-com bust, and Airbnb started in 2007, just before the 2008 real estate crash. Both companies not only survived, but thrive. Laugh in the face of adversity. I get it. Adversity is tough, but so are you. And good news is not only it's not going to last forever. Now that you keep feeding it. You see, you can give your struggle more power or take it away. One way to reduce the intensity by accepting the fact that it's there. Another way is through humor. 7. The 1% rule to cope with adversity. In his book, Atomic Habit, James Clear explains that you should focus on improving yourself 1% daily. See, everyone focus on the big change. Well, the big changes happen when you make tiny changes consistently. That's the secret for exponential and self-improvement. That's true. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. My weight loss, okay? Um, I've always struggled to lose weight, gain it, lose weight, gain it. So what I did was I made some changes. I don't call it a diet. I call it a lifestyle. I changed what I eat. I eat less, okay? And I have managed to lose over 30 pounds, which which is a big relief, particularly on my infected left knee. Keep the big picture in mind. You can experience difficulty in days, weeks, or months, or experience something like me for years. The good news is still only a fraction of your life. The sooner you regain control and reclaim your power, the faster you can turn your struggles into strength. You see, in my teenage years, it seemed hopeless, even though I had education, friends, everything a teenager is supposed to could ask for. I struggled with mental and social health issues. But it also encouraged me to learn about myself. It ignited my conscious self improvement journey. And looking back at my 20s, I couldn't have been happy about it. Find your purpose. As you already mentioned, that your biggest struggles can come with greatest superpowers. You can get a sense of purpose in being from it. You can gain purpose when you struggle. You can also find purpose in anything else and gain strength from that to overcome it. And here's something that's very important: maintaining a positive mental attitude. It's not what's going to happen to you, but how you interpret those events that cause the struggle. And learning how to reframe them is an essential life skill. Of course, terrible things happen, and many things will be entirely outside your control, but yet you can always choose your response. You can always decide to be your perspective, and you can always choose to do what next. Believe in yourself. To live an extraordinary life, you must work more than yourself than anything that you know. You are your biggest asset. You can learn anything if you set your mind to it, and you have the power to overcome any obstacle that life throws at you. Prepare for the worst. When times are tough, people are expected to last forever. When times are good, people can't imagine it will ever be bad again. But life happens in cycles. They're like the seasons of the year. After the rain, you can bet the fact the sun will come out and vice versa. There's no escaping those cycles. And if you realize that, you can prepare. And don't ever give up. Okay. Failure are merely stepping stones towards success, and adversity is the only season that will disappear. The good news setbacks provide experience. Going through the seasons of life allow you to grow, get stronger, and become wiser. And we will park it here. Okay. So let me just highlight these comments. Thank you, Jojo. I thank you, Irby. That's the key. Okay. I mean, you know what? People are gonna think I'm a little weird, but I don't know if you ever watch the movies like Rocky One, Rocky Two, Rocky Three, Rocky Four, and Rocky Five. Okay, okay. Now, Rocky Balboa is one of my favorite fictional characters, and I'm going to tell you why. Because many times Rocky Balboa faced huge obstacles, okay, but he was able to overcome them. That's why I love the character Rocky Balboa. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that we have to be physically beaten to a pulp, but it does show an example where um, you don't give up. Okay, we all face trials and tribulations, but the thing we have to bear in mind, the thing that if it doesn't destroy us, it makes us stronger. That's something we have to bear in mind. So, and of course, when it comes to dealing with trials and tribulations, it does help when you have some core values to that will help you as you go through the trials and tribulations. In the case of myself and my friend Georgia, we are both Christians, and we both have our faith in Jesus of Nazareth, and we have overgone many trials and tribulations. Um, but it is our faith in Jesus to help us to get past those trials and tribulations. Yeah, you know what? He's one of my favorite characters because he does not quit. He continues on, and sometimes he faces huge obstacles to achieve his goal. Now, granted, his goal is basically to beat the living snot out of the other guy, but nevertheless, it does give some images of, yep, okay, making sure that we don't quit, making sure that we give our best effort all the time. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share another article. Just give me a moment. Okay, excuse me. Okay. Okay. Um, People will call it a sport, others do not. I don't watch boxing, so I really cannot say either way, but many people consider boxing a sport. Okay? I mean, it's a physical sport. It's a brutal sport, but for many people, it is a sport. Okay, so just give me a moment. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share another article. Now, let me just make this okay. This next article is, of course, deals with trials and tribulations with a Christian perspective because, like I said before in the beginning, I am a Christian. Okay, this is not a Christian channel platform. It's a people platform. However, we do come, we do try to find logical solutions to everyday problems. So this is just something to consider. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Now I came across it, and it's on a website known as Christian Life Coach Mentor, and it's called Overcoming Trials in Our Life. So anyone who has traveled by plane knows that may experience a little turbulence here and there during your flight. It is rare to take a trip these days not encounter a few issues along the way. As Christians, we understand that not fly we will not fly through life with ease because we know that there will be some bumps and turbulence in our journeys. We all face tests, trials, and tribulations, and when the turbulence hits, it can impact us spiritually, mentally, physically, or financially as we are not prepared. How can we learn to prepare ourselves for these trials and tribulations? It's up to us. Many of us speak of our faith, but when the trial hits us, we panic, worry, or cave into feelings of hopelessness. My friend, this is not a faith. This is a lack of faith. So what I'm going to do is give you some keys. Again, this is Christian oriented, so just try to analyze it before you poo-poo it. Okay. So let me just. No, I'm not going to read that. Okay. So I will admit, not always being patient with a faithfully waiting in the storm to quell. If I'm not careful, the anxiety builds up before I can stop my thoughts. I am overwhelmed with feelings of despair, hopelessness, or worry. And I'm just going to skip in the next paragraph. Isn't it times that I am so grateful, it reminds me of how fortunate that we are that the Bible is filled with truth. And when we take the time to read God's truth and allow His word to fill our minds, we turn to those promises and rely on the words in times of trouble. God promised He will never leave us nor forsake us. Deuteronomy 31, verse 6. So, learning how to overcome the trials. Walk in faith. No matter what we face in our lives, we must remember God is with us. God loves us unconditionally, and when life looks dark and grim, He never leaves us, even when do not work out as we expected. We can learn leaning on God for strength and support to sustain us through our struggles. And then there's another verse of scripture which says, God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalm 46, verse 1. Direction. Lean on God when you need help making a decision. Ask God to give you wisdom for the circumstances you are facing. Avoid turning to family and friends seeking their advice before God. Turn to God first. Take time to be still and ask God to openly. Cast your care on Him. You may not receive an answer right away, but walk in trust, and God will answer in, you in His perfect timing. Believe and receive, expectantly waiting for His direction. Okay, let me just give some clarification. It does not mean go to family and friends. Okay, however, for us, the chief source of our strength is God. So our number one source as far as direction is God. So that's the reason why. Apply. Lastly, it's important to apply this word in your life. When you apply God's word, you grow through life as opposed to going through life. Our journey is about growth. Our spiritual journey is about deepening our relationship with God. There will be trials, there will be challenges, there will be unanswered prayers. And it is our reaction and response to these situations that determines our next step. Will you move forward or backward? It takes steps back many times due to lack of faith, and you need to take control. Letting go in faith and trusting in God is one of the most important things you can do as a believer. And when you let go and let God, you are reflecting on His light and others set to follow. What are you reflecting? Are you reflecting or deflecting? We are all overcomers. The choice is ours. Will you allow your trials to consume you, or you will choose to break free and grow through your challenges? The challenge. I challenge you to read God's word, meditate on it, and walk in faith. Let's face those trials together, head on without wavering, because we know and believe that God is for us and will overcome. Whatever the outcome, we grow stronger. God is with us, always with us. We're not promised a life of ease. We are promised a life in the eternal. So today, friend, give your life to God and allow His word to give you the peace and hope that you long for. And we're going to park it here. Excuse me. Now, again, you see, in my case, and I'm going to speak only about myself. I'm not going to speak about anybody else. I have been through many dealt with sickness. I dealt with death. I have dealt with betrayal. I have dealt with people who lied about me. I have dealt with people, okay, who have done evil things to me. Okay. However, I am able to overcome those trials and tribulations because I managed to think, look into the entire picture. Okay. I was able to see that there are solutions, that there is an escape, that there's a way to overcome. Okay. Sometimes it can take a while for you to see the light of the tunnel, but there is a light in the tunnel. Okay. And that's something that we all need to bear in mind as we go through trials and tribulations. Okay. And in fact, I in one of my shorts, I label it what doesn't break you strengthen you. What doesn't do I mean and there's a reason for that. When you are able to go through trials and tribulation or hardships and you manage to overcome it, what it does, it gives you courage. Okay. When you're going through, whether it be a sickness, whether you're going through a heartache, when you're grieving because you lost a loved one, it is in that sad time when you think about all the things that you have overcome. And what it does, it gives you courage. Okay. And it gives you the courage to say to yourself, okay, I'm going through this situation, but I know that I'm bigger than this situation. I know that I'm going to overcome it. I know I'm going to be victorious over the situation. Okay. The key is, of course, remain calm, remain focused. Don't let the problem or the difficulty uh, become your master. You learn to adapt. Okay. A perfect example of this when we dealt with the COVID 19 pandemic, um, particularly in 2020, which was really the most difficult part of the health crisis because, first of all, we did not have a cure to deal with COVID 19. We did not have a great deal of knowledge regarding this disease. We did not have a great deal of knowledge how the disease came over. We did not have a great deal of knowledge regarding how to reduce the exposure. Okay. In fact, I don't know if you recall that in the beginning, the CDC was discouraging people to get masks because they needed to have masks for the doctors and the medical staff. Okay, and of course, here in New York, we dealt with curfews. We had to be in our apartments within a certain time. Also, those of us that were able to, we were able to work remotely. Okay, through the use of a laptop with access to our workstations. Okay. Unfortunately, not everyone uh, had the blessing to be able to work remotely. And many people, unfortunately, lost their livelihoods. Okay. And also, another thing that because of the crisis, where we couldn't gather with our loved ones for fear of spreading this disease. And the ones that really suffered because of this were children because they couldn't be with their friends and the elderly. Okay. Particularly the elderly that were residing in nursing homes. Okay. And it was very depressing, very sad because there have been many people, elderly, that died alone because their families were not able to visit them. Okay. And just to give you how bad it was, um, when my mother was hospitalized during the pandemic, I could not escort my mother to the ER. So think about it. You are an elderly person. You are in the ER by yourself. You are separated from loved ones, and it's a scary moment. And the whole notion of wearing masks, when social distancing, things of that nature, it was all new because no one knew. I mean, no one knew how to deal with it. Okay, so in time, we learned how to deal with the disease. Okay, they came up with vaccines. They came up with other protocols. Um, I mean, people are still being affected by COVID-19, but it's not like what it was 4 years ago. Okay, where at one point more than 1 million people had perished because of COVID-19. Okay, so it was a very scary time. Okay, okay, and some people have never fully recovered. Okay, and unfortunately, more people became mentally ill. Okay, because unfortunately, some of them did not have the skills or the wherewithal to deal with trials and tribulations. Okay, I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm not an expert. I am not a psychiatrist or a therapist, whatever. I'm just simply relaying to you what's been my personal experience, what's been my strategy to deal with trials and tribulation or hardships. Okay, but I can say what you need to do, and again, is remain calm. Try to um, rely on your beliefs. Okay, uh, of course, in my case, as a Christian, believe in the power of prayer, things of that nature. So the people believe in a higher power. Okay, and once once you're able to get past your hardships, your trials, or your tribulations, uh, what it will do is it will give you encouragement when the next trial or tribulation or hardship comes along. Okay, it will give you encouragement, and you will think about it. Okay, I'm going through this, but I went through this situation, and I was able to overcome it. So therefore, if I was able to overcome this, I'm able to overcome whatever trials and tribulations that we all face with. Okay, and again, I've dealt with loss of employment. I have done with death. I have done with sickness. I have done with doubt. I have dealt with depression. I have dealt with thoughts of self deletion. I've had my heart broken. Um, I've been through some very lonely and painful moments in my life. Okay. But thank goodness I was able to overcome them. Okay. So I have been talking for almost an hour, excuse me. So, again, if anyone wishes to join the panel, the link is there. If anyone wishes to opine further in the chat, you may do so. If no one chooses to opine further or um, join the panel, I'll start to wrap this up, okay? Because just to hear myself talk, it's fine, but I do encourage interaction, okay? And I also encourage those who have an opinion. Maybe you disagree with anything or everything I've said. Okay, fine. If you disagree, Okay, let's discuss it. Why do you disagree? Come up with your facts. Okay. Um, why I don't care to call is people that disagree, but yet they don't state why, they don't articulate why, and they don't produce their evidence. Okay. And again, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just sharing with you what's been my personal experiences dealing with hardships and things of that nature. But just to get off the subject a little bit, I'm in the process of coming up with topics for next week's stream. Okay. Now, one of the topics that I will be discussing next week, has feminism gone too far? Okay. Now, the reason why I'm discussing the topic because when feminism came into being in its original form, it did help to address a lot of inequities that women dealt with. Okay, women couldn't vote, women couldn't own property, women couldn't run for politics, women couldn't enter into contracts, women could not discipline their children, women were the physical property of their husbands. And how can I say this without something crude? If a husband wanted to engage intimacy with their wives, the wives had no choice on the subject. Okay, so feminism did address many of the inequities that women dealt with. Okay, unfortunately, what happened is it kind of morphed into something else where women want to be the dominant sex. When women talk about being boss chicks and that they don't need a man, they can do better by themselves and things of that nature. But yet, we see a lot of these women are these so-called boss chicks struggling because they cannot pay their bills and depending on a man, okay, to pay their bills and what have you. And also, some of these women are expecting men to hold traditional roles, while women do not want to maintain their professional roles. Okay. Now, I'm not saying all women are like this. Okay. This is not meant to be an attack on women. Okay. This is just basically a discussion regarding feminism. And the question is, has it helped or has it hurt more? Okay. That's something that we will be discussing on Monday's stream. And of course, tomorrow I will do another stream where I'll have another episode of open discussion where, of course, I'll be talking about multiple topics. Okay. I'll just give you my viewpoints regarding topics that I'll be sharing with you. And of course, I will encourage the audience um, to opine as well. And also, maybe the audience have some things that they wish to talk about. Okay. And hopefully, we'll have some back and forth. Okay. But I do appreciate all the love and all the support all of you have given me. Okay. Um, the reason why I have the success I have, it's because of people like you. Week in and week out, um, catch my content, whether it be live or on the playback, or whether it be my shorts and things of that nature. Okay, so with that being said, just check. Now, before I go, I want to highlight something from uh, that I did in the community tab today, which is a simple question. It has to do with taxes. Have you filed your taxes yet? Are you waiting for your return? Okay, so I would encourage all of you, if you have the time, to respond to my text poll, okay, and does opine, okay. So with that being said, I'm going to start to wrap this up, okay, and of course, all of you are more than welcome to opine after the stream is over regarding the topic. You can agree or disagree. So the thing I do ask again, please keep it respectful, okay? Because if you don't keep it respectful, what's going to happen? It's going to get deleted, and it's that simple, okay? And I do appreciate the people in the chat, um, Georgia and Irby, who opined and gave their point of view. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So with that being said, I'm gonna put this string. I'm gonna put this string to bed, okay? And of course, I'm gonna end it the same way that I always end it. We must do everything possible to minimize our contact with the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by their stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron saying good night, take care, have a blessed night, and peace.